Oh wow, it's packing peanuts. Oh, it's blue now. It's Harman Phoenix 2. Is there a letter? There's literature. There's actually quite a few letters. It's actually, okay. I'm gonna cut to like voiceover explanation. Yes, Harman have just released a follow-up to their brand new color film Phoenix 200, which I guess makes it not a brand new color film anymore because they have just put out Phoenix 2 200, which is something that maybe could have used a little bit of a snappier name, but naming sequels is hard. Harman released Phoenix 200 originally in 2023, a brand new color film that we might recall as being heavy on the contrast, big on the saturation, a little crazy when scanned by a lab, and not something that necessarily behaves the best at box speed. But now, just under 2 years later, Phoenix 2 is here. It's an evolution. It's a change. It's a growth. It is a film that is just about as wacky as Phoenix 1. Phoenix 2 is labeled as a 200 ISO film, although Harman, in the several pieces of paper that were included with the rolls of film, have said that it works somewhere best between 100 and 200 ISO. My first roll I shot at 200, and let's start by looking at the lab scans done on a Noritsu scanner. Right away I can tell that we're working with at least less contrast than Phoenix 1. I wouldn't say 200 gives the most detail with this stuff, but there's more than I've seen when shooting Phoenix 1 in the same way. The color saturation is also significantly down, but these lab scans really lean hard into the green shadows especially, but all the trees and grass really pop much more than anything else in the frame. And I mean, I know I'm outdoors and people can be like, you're only shooting trees, of course there's gonna be a lot of green, but like it seems like a lot of green. Meanwhile, the highlights have dipped really hard into like red, and the blues are really subdued in all of these shots. I'm not a huge fan of these results right out of the lab scanner. I don't mind that the green really pops, but paired with like really red highlights, it's just, I don't like it. Something's kind of off here. Bumping things up a bit, I shot a roll exposed at 100 ISO instead, and there really is a good amount of detail in all of these shots when you give it a bit more light. So just like Phoenix 1, I would probably recommend not shooting it at box speed and instead going like a stop, maybe even 2 stops over. But what I really wanted to do, along with the help of Robin, like we did in the previous Ektachrome video, was to shoot 2 rolls side by side. Maybe I'll give you Phoenix 2, and I'll shoot Phoenix 1.
Okay.
I've already, at this point, will have shot 2 full rolls of Phoenix 2.
I've shot Phoenix none. Wow, don't put that in there, please.
We shot both at 100 ISO side by side to have a really clear idea of the difference. It really does come down to contrast and saturation, with both being dialed down for the new Phoenix. Phoenix 1 is such a punchy film, and that contrast gives you really deep, rich black areas, but you're also not getting a lot of finer details in those rich black areas. And the colors are really rich as well, and it makes Phoenix 2's palette look bland and flat by comparison. But like Phoenix 1, I figured it was worth scanning Phoenix 2 myself. I'm not working with the highest end home scanning setup. It's a micro four thirds Lumix paired with a basic negative supply holder setup and Negative Lab Pro to invert the film. But it's enough to let me know that your results with Phoenix 2 will probably vary. Inverting Phoenix 2 in Negative Lab Pro spits out images that are immediately much more blue in comparison to the lab scans. The green is way less prominent and those warm highlights are gone. So much so that I was left pretty surprised with shots that were significantly different from my first impression from the lab. For inverting in Negative Lab Pro, I played around a bit, but in the end I let Lightroom auto white balance and left the color mode to basic, which helped to bring down the intensity of the blue a bit against the Noritsu and Frontier settings. Like the first Phoenix, Phoenix 2 is going to probably vary quite a bit with both how you shoot and how you scan. With less overall contrast and saturation though, it is probably going to be easier to work with in a variety of situations. If I'm being honest though, I think I missed some of that saturation and contrast from Phoenix 2 that is like really pulled back for Phoenix 1, and there probably exists somewhere a film in between Phoenix 1 and Phoenix 2 that I'm more interested in. Phoenix 2 also seems to lack a bit of those fringing, flared out highlights that Phoenix 1 has, but it's not completely gone. In terms of the actual negatives, Phoenix 1 and 2 look very similar. They're both purple, but when both exposed at 100, like these two rolls were, Phoenix 1 has noticeably denser negatives. If we look at our characteristic curve, we can see that Phoenix 1 has a higher maximum density over Phoenix 2. Phoenix 2's curve also shows us that it should have some more green in the shadows and more blue in the highlights. So maybe camera scanning gets you a little bit closer to the intended look of that film in comparison to what a lab scanner might give you with this. Either way, it's likely to drive some people nuts and is not going to be for everyone. For those of you who are concerned about Phoenix 1, you probably should be. The original Phoenix, according to Harman, is going to be available while stock lasts in both 35 and 120. However, we may decide to coat this film again in the future if there is sufficient interest. So a little hard to say how long that is going to be around for. Regardless, it is very encouraging to see Harman working very hard on this. Like Phoenix 1 came out 2 years ago, and then Phoenix 1 in 120 came out about a year ago, last August, I believe. And now Phoenix 2 is out, and it's launching in 35 and 120. So maybe get it while you can, because at the rate things are going, Phoenix 3 will be out in like 6 months, and then a Phoenix mini series will be up on streaming like 4 times a year after that, and then there will be plans for Phoenix 4, 5, and 6, and then eventually a crossover with Kodak. Thank you so much for checking this out. This has been a little look at Phoenix 2, which is either coming out the day the film launched, the day after the film launched, or the day after the film launched, based on when I can kind of put this together. I have a little bit of mail, which got to me like a week or 2 ago and is so charming that I really wanted to show it off on the channel. This came to the P.O. box. It is from Victoria in Michigan. I'm not going to read quite the whole letter, but she said, I came across your video about the Polaroid iZone cameras and was inspired to send you a package. Specifically, the video is dated March 24th, 2020 and July 4th, 2019. When I was in elementary school and middle school, I had the Polaroid iZone 2000 camera. I don't see 2000 included in the name often, but that is what I remember calling it, and that's the year it came out, so it makes sense. In your video, you mentioned wondering about what people took photos of and how they turned out, so I am including some pages copied from my childhood scrapbook as examples. Around that early 2000s era, I was trying to buy more film for my camera, but accidentally ended up buying film for the iZone 200, not realizing that was a different camera model than I had. Fast forward to the year 2021 when I was cleaning out my room in my house and I came across the bag of unused iZone 200 film. It was several years expired and not cold stored, but I was super curious if the film was still usable. I purchased an old iZone 200 on eBay and gave it a shot. I only tried one of the boxes of film, but sadly none of the photos turned out. It was still fun to try and relive some of that childhood excitement. Somewhere along the way, I came across your videos during my research. They were a joy to watch, and you mentioned wanting people to send in any old iZone film they had.
I know it's a long shot that any of the film is still good, but here are several unopened boxes of film along with the camera. If anyone could enjoy an old Polaroid camera and its expired film, it has to be you. Sincerely, Victoria from Michigan. So first of all, she scanned and sent me photos from her childhood scrapbook of like family photos of like friends and pets of old Polaroid iZone film, which is so like so sweet and so like personal to see, because it's so like mid early 2000s, and it's really just like, it's so charming, which is just really fun. And she did include the Polaroid iZone 200, which is very different from like the longer Polaroid iZone cameras, which I would have featured in the video way back. It takes slightly different film, I think, that is specifically for iZone 200, but she included 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes of Polaroid iZone film that all expired so long ago that the expiration dates have faded. I think it says 2006. 2006 isn't bad. I'm not sure I have the highest hopes for these, but I should really shoot these. Instant non-sticky film. So unfortunately it's not like the sticker film that iZone had. But thank you, Victoria. That was really kind and really nice. And like the photos that you scanned means a lot to see. So thank you so much for checking this out, and thank you for people who are still discovering and reminding me that I have videos from like 5 or 6 or 7 years ago on this channel, because it's been going for a while. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.